Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and now that my 2 informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about AlphaDestiny's new world record. Apparently he has set a world record in the 2-board reverse band slingshot bench press. Set a world record. Now, the record is, I think, approximately 301 pounds at the bottom, with 523 pounds at the lockout. Now, of course, this stuff is all estimates because there's no way to actually really measure with the equipment you would have in a gym the actual tension and things on these bands. But we're real close, plus or minus a couple ounces there, right? And in fact, his warm-up was a world record also because no one else has ever tried the lift before. It's like he probably holds the world record in the 1 dick length Jefferson rack pull. Because again, no one's ever done that exercise before either. But the joking aside, people are going to be like, well, what are you joking about? I'm joking about the fact that you have guys like Strap-On Destiny who do these showboat lifts in a way to try to show that they're stronger than they really are. And that's fine as long as people understand that that's what it is. And truth be told, in all honesty, the guy isn't lazy. The guy actually has a good work ethic. You know what? I'm going to actually be honest for a minute here and not pick on the positives of someone, because that's the thing. Even people who we have problems with, we need to always at least be honest about their strong points instead of saying everything about them is bad, because that's not actually true. Even people that you might despise, there's probably some redeeming features in them. It doesn't matter who they are. And if you can't admit that they have some redeeming features, then you're the one who's probably got the skewed perception. He has a good work ethic. Guy actually is willing to train hard. He's actually willing to train hard. And he's been doing it for years. Again, he played other sports before this. In fact, I saw his video showing his leg thing. Some people linked it to me, asked me to check it out the other day. It just led me to talk about this. And then he talked about his previous leg training that he used to build his leg development before he said he's not working on it anymore. He's just going to deadlift and do other stuff to maintain his legs. Try to maintain them. And work on all these other lifts that he wants to work on. So he was squatting heavy 4 days a week for a very, very long time to build his legs. All right? That's actually hard work. It's not like the guy doesn't train hard. It's not like he doesn't have a work ethic. And I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny the fact that the guy's got a work ethic. He does. He does. And he has a decent strength base. The problem is that he's got so caught up in trying to market himself and not allowing his ego to get the best of him that it's stopping him from doing the things that actually would make him bigger and stronger and help him actualize his potential, because the truth is he knows that he isn't really competitive at a serious level on any lift that he'd get compared against other people. And that's what we've got to realize. Standards are high on YouTube. I mean, let's be realistic here. I walk in and throw 500 pounds on a bar and do 7 reps on the beltless deadlift and people call me weak, right? No belt, no straps, in boots, so it's a deficit. I do 7 reps with that and people call it weak. I throw 515 on the bar, same thing, conventional, in boots, no belt, no straps, crank out 5 reps. I've done it quite a few times. People call it weak. I've pause bench 315 for 5 reps and people call it weak. You guys need to understand this. That's the internet. And when you're trying to market yourself as different, and you have lifts like that, which would basically put you stronger than most people have ever seen anyone do in their gym. But because you have so many fantastic lifters out there who are strong and people who cheat and do other stuff, it's hard to look strong on the internet. And your ego can get the best of you if you let it, because you know you're being compared to everyone else. And that's where he's got this hang up, and he's got a bunch of silly kids doing all this same stuff, these nonsense accommodating resistance lifts that you can't compare to other people. And people say, well, what about his overhead press? We don't know what he can overhead press because that 225 overhead press, we didn't see how far he went down at the bottom. He never put the full rep up. We don't know if he actually did a push press starting from his ears. We don't know because we don't see the first half. You only see the lockout. We don't know what he did. But that's the thing. Even if it was a push press, a 225 push press at 180 is not bad. I mean, that's not weak. That's not weak. But the fact is he has to hide everything. And it's because his ego gets in the way. He knows he's not at a world level on strength. And he's trying to market that he's special and got special ideas. And they're not. All he's done is dumbed down stuff that he took from Bugenhagen, stuff that he took from Westside without really understanding it fully and throwing his own spin on it to try to market and sell to a bunch of silly, naive kids. And it works. He's got a bunch of naive kids who follow him who don't know any better. And that's what it comes down to. It's not anything other than the fact that he's using deceptive practices to market. That's what it comes down to. Because truth be told, if the guy just went and trained back with conventional methods again, but again, it's hard to market conventional training. Guys, when he says, oh, I can't stand it, I want to kill myself if I do conventional lifting, no, he doesn't. He did it for years. He did it for years. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with it at all. He can't sell it. He can't slap an ebook on it. Because it's going to seem too plain to other people. And by doing all the theatrics and all these reverse band chain work and partials and all these crazy partials and doing sumo deadlifts with straps and hitching when you're short, high handle trap bar deadlifts, all these extremely short range of motion exercises where he can get a leverage advantage or claim he's got X amount of weight using bands and chains and whatever, allows him to show off and pretend like he's stronger than he is, and it impresses a bunch of kids. But the thing is, he's had to back away from a lot of that because Bugenhagen basically kind of said, look, this is not legit, kind of called it out. He realized that he was going to have to change what he's doing, and he's adjusting stuff accordingly. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, he built a whole model upon a deceptive practice and letting his ego get the best of him. And that's what it comes down to, is that insecurity. It's that insecurity. You know, instead of just coming in and building that strength and being honest with yourself. And that's what full range of motion pause work does for you. That's what full range of motion pause work does for you. It's an ego check. It's an ego check. Just like me, you know, some people might look at what I'm lifting in the gym and they might be impressed, they might not. Because I do so much pause work. My overhead pressing right now, I pause to a dead stop on my chest on every single rep. I do floor presses with a dead stop for at least a full second or two on every single rep. It's hard. It checks your ego. It's hard. You can't lift as much weight. You've got to generate instantaneous force. You have to know where your real strength is to do these things. They will check your ego, but I'll be damned if they don't make you strong. All this conventional training, full range of motion training, doing stuff the harder way, doing a pause, closed grip bench press. Things like that to build your strength. It's like Paul Carter says, we go to the gym to build strength, not demonstrate it. Say that again. We go to the gym to build strength, not to demonstrate it. You demonstrate in a competitive environment. When you're in the gym, we're there to train. We're there to improve. We're there to get stronger, not show off. And yeah, sometimes you are forced to use less weight because you're doing things the hard way. You're hammering the hardest ranges of motion, the hardest joint angles. But it works. It makes you strong. And it allows you, when you do want to go do a show-off lift, when you've built a massive strength base, that's when it carries over. And that's the direction I'm trying to go these days. But, you know, it's tough on your ego. It is hard on your ego to come in day after day after day and grind big conventional lifts. You know, and the only sometimes we get a break is when we change them up. Say, man, today I'm going to do something different. Instead of doing a beltless pause squat, I'm going to go ahead and throw my belt on. If I can throw another 20 pounds on the bar. Maybe I'm going to pop out of the bottom instead of doing a pause. Go ahead and get the stretch reflex. You know, we can change these things up like that from time to time. And sometimes that's good for that break. And sometimes it's good just to make your ego feel good to do these things. But at the end of the day, guys, it's the hard stuff, not the show-off stuff. That's how you build strength. But it's tough on your ego because, you know, especially if you have to film it. If you got to film doing set after set after set, especially when you do high sets, you come in and do 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of pause work. You put that up on the internet, what do people say? Oh man, that's not that much weight. That's not impressive. It's like, yeah, because we go to the gym to build strength, not demonstrate it. But that's kind of the point. When you get to where you can close grip and pause 315 on your chest for 2-3 seconds, no, that's not very impressive. People are going to say, oh man, that's just 315. But what does that carry over to? What's that carry over to? Not impressive in its own right till you realize you're holding it on your chest for 3 seconds with a close grip. What happens when you transfer that back over to a wider grip? What happens when you only have to briefly touch? Again, it carries over because you're forcing yourself to work hardest on all the exercises in their hardest positions. You're forced to build power when you come in and train. And what he does on camera isn't any of that. It's all show off. And a lot of it doesn't transfer over to anything else. Don't transfer to any other endeavor. It won't. It's all showing off. But you know, maybe the kid will come around. Maybe he'll come around, realize that, and go back to some more serious conventional training. He would probably be stupidly strong. If the guy with where he's at right now actually came in and just went back to the non-flashy, time-proven conventional training and doing all the stuff the hard way with the same work ethic he has, in a year or two the guy would be ridiculously strong. I probably wouldn't catch him. But the problem is that because he's built a market around the show-off stuff, he can't do any of that. Can't do it right now. Because it'll check his ego and it'll show everyone that he's not as strong as he pretends to be. And he can't afford that right now. It'll hit him in the pocketbook. So it is what it is. But you know what? Maybe a couple weeks from now he'll set a half a dick length range of motion Jefferson rack lock out with chains and reverse bands. Alright guys, but that's really all I had to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.